Sir, am I audible? Yes, testing.
Johnson from Ashoka Women's Engineering College. You are.
Sorry, am I audible, sir? I'm just testing it before starting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible. Sir, can you hear me?
So I can hear you, sir. Fine. You're audible. So Vijay, sir, can you give me the sharing option? I'm unable to share, sir.
I'm just making you. Sir, Manideep. Sir, now you can share the screen, sir. I've given you that rights. Sir, 3 o'clock will just for.
Yes, yes, fine, fine.
Sir, am I audible, sir? Johnson, sir.
Pratibha ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Dear colleagues, good afternoon to all of you. With that, I'll initiate this today's video call 5 minutes in advance because today being for a minute, I would request all of you to please. Saying something, you are not audible, Pratibha ma'am.
You are audible, sir.
Yeah. For a second. Ma'am, Pratibha ma'am, am I audible, ma'am? Nandini ma'am.
Vijay sir. Vijay sir.
Manideep sir, am I audible to you, sir? I am
Yes, sir.
able to hear you.
Sir, you are audible, sir. You are audible, and my request is you have given me total access, I think so. So can you give me only sharing option? Why? Because I'm seeing participants are waiting in the waiting room. You have given me all access, I think so. You
Want me to
disable.
limit the
You just limit the access. Only sharing option you can enable, sir.
Manideep sir, if you are ready, we'll start this.
Yes, sir. Yes, please, sir. Please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, colleagues, colleges, other regions. Again for the third FDP session, College Kurnool. Welcome all again. Let's get into this. Ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pratibha from Ashoka Women's Engineering College. We are very proud to say that Ashoka Women's Engineering College is organizing 3 days FDP on art of writing a research article and indexing and publication. Today we are very glad to have Dr. A. Sai Manideep sir from Vignan University. Dr. E. Sai Manideep sir, he has an 8 years of academic experience in teaching services, marketing, digital marketing, business analytics for graduates and postgraduates management students. Presently, Sai Manideep sir is working as assistant professor for Vignan University, Guntur. He was awarded doctorate degree from Vignan University on the topic Consumer Repurchase Intention in Indian Wellness Industry, a mediation analysis. In relevance to this research interest, he has published several papers in reputed journals indexed in SCI, Scopus, authored 2 books. He has completed certification courses in research methodology, digital marketing, social media marketing, offered by premier institutions and attended national and international conferences in Redwood. Currently, sir, EMGP program offered by IIM Rohtak, he's undergoing under the program. Sai Manideep sir, we are very glad to have you as a resource person for this FGP. Thank you so much, sir. When I asked you to act as a resource person, immediately you said okay. For that, we are very thankful to you. Please, sir, please take your session, sir.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Before starting, I would like to extend my gratitudes and also thank Pratima madam and as well as this women's college. So I'll be more focusing on, like, for example, this session more focuses on faculty or research scholars who have recently started their research. So we'll be discussing on, will not be discussing on particular topic in depth. We'll be discussing on many topics, like we'll be discussing on how to build a theory. We'll be discussing on mediation moderation analysis, how to contribute for research. Yesterday's session and following session have been participating. Many of the research scholars are in a dilemma that they were asking a question. The question is like, why our research may not be accepted in the top tier journals, reputed journals? Why don't they accept the research? So it is not about tool, or it is not about the paper, the content that you write. So these days research has been more focused on the more emphasis is given on tool. Even in the paper, we give more emphasis on interpreting the output of the tool. That is the main reason why normal researchers like us will not get accepted in the top tier journals. So my suggestion is you more concentrate on the theory building. So this session caters that point, how to build a theory, and what are the latest analysis like mediation moderation analysis that are available to give you some scope to contribute to the existing literature. That is the first part of the session, and followed by the second part of the session, we'll be concentrating on referencing, how to refer, what are the referring tools that are available, and we'll also touch on the bibliometric analysis. What are the tools that are available to conduct bibliometric analysis, especially for if you are writing a theoretical paper. So bibliometric analysis is most important. So how to do it in a simple form, and we also concentrate on how to extract data from database like Scoopers, Web of Science, how to extract data from Google Scholars. Such kind of things we'll be discussing in this session. Right? So I would like to discuss on the topic called theory building and referencing. The contents of the presentation are, it has two parts. The first part of the session will be concentrating on what is theory building and what do you mean by mediation analysis and moderation analysis. And second part of the presentation concentrates on citation metrics. We'll be discussing two parts under citation metrics. One is publish or perish, and second is Mendeley desktop for reference. So coming to the theory building, what is the meaning of theory building? For example, before starting this topic, I'll be showing you a paper which was written by me recently. So this is a paper that I'm referring to, which was written by me. The title of the paper is Determining the Effect of Endorser Credibility on Wellness Consumer Purchase Intention. The theoretical analysis that I've used, the tool that I've used to conduct is mediation analysis. So how did I develop theory is what I'm going to discuss. So you know that research papers start with an abstract. We're discussing on what is the significance of this research in the industry, what are the total respondents, what are the research method extracting tool that I have used, like exploratory factor analysis tool that I have used, and what is your contribution in the research. The second part of the abstract more concentrate on defining what is my contribution to the research. So you all know that the paper starts with introduction, defining what is the industry, what is the scope of the study, and what is the research problem exactly, and what are the different sectors the industry has. And this paper more concentrate on defining the research problem. What is the objective and what is the problem? So this part covers this. Based upon the problem, we try to define what are the questions, question 1 and question 2. Then starts the literature review. In the literature review, the variables that I have taken, for example, like credibility endorsement. So what is the meaning of credibility endorsement? So I'm talking about development of theory, how to develop a theory. You have a research question, you have variables, you have certain objectives. From literature review, you start defining what is the meaning of the variable. You come across contemporary researchers, what did they speak regarding that variable. You define the definition of that variable. Followed by brand awareness, you define what is the meaning of the brand awareness. It is must that you are supposed to quote the research. You are supposed to acknowledge the researches. The content that where you have copied and rewritten in your own words, you are supposed to acknowledge. That is a very basic. And followed by brand credibility, you define what is brand credibility and purchase intention. So these four are the four constructs, variables, the four things that I am going to conduct a research. So here comes hypothesis development. So the main part of this session actually begins from development of an hypothesis. So how to develop an hypothesis? You know, hypothesis is an assumption statement. So what is assumption statement in my research is the credibility endorsement significantly influence consumer purchase intention. So how do I substantiate that this hypothesis is the assumption is true? So I do literature review. What are the previous studies that this study already been established? They have been proved that this study is correct, proper, but in a different context. My context of study is different. Their context of study is different. But I acknowledge their study because it is relevant. The relation already been established by someone. So I carry forward their research. So that could be my contribution to the research. Likewise, I have the second hypothesis. The second hypothesis speaks like this: like brand awareness mediates the effect of endorser credibility and consumer purchase intention. So if I want to substantiate this hypothesis, what is the theory that is available? Who are the people who have already worked on this theory, established this relation in different contexts? How I am going to use that substantiate proof in my research? This is how I detailedly write to get support, theoretical support or empirical support to my established hypothesis. And here comes the third hypothesis. And the third hypothesis speaks about brand credibility mediates the effect of endorser credibility on purchase intention. Even the third hypothesis is strongly substantiated by the literature review. This is how I build the theory. And likewise, the following hypothesis is made. So this is how I build a model, a research frame. You may call it as a research framework or model, theoretical model. So what my first hypothesis tells that this brand credibility has direct effect on purchase intention, which is a direct effect. And here comes this endorser credibility. Endorser credibility also have an indirect impact to the purchase intention with mediating variables called brand awareness and brand credibility. So you may ask a question that these relations are already exist in previous literature. What is your contribution to the theory? Why should we accept your paper? Am I making sense? Could someone say yes or no or hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
So you may ask a question that why we should accept your paper? What is your contribution to the study? What is the content that you are adding to the existing literature? So my answer is, I introduce mediators. The first mediator is brand awareness, and the second mediator is brand credibility. So what happens if I introduce mediators? If I introduce mediators, the effect of the independent variable on the dependent variable get enhances. You understand? I want to enhance the relationship between endorser credibility and purchase intention. So in the direct, when I with no mediators, this is the direct path. There are no mediators in this relationship. But in this research framework, two mediators are introduced. The first mediator is brand awareness, and the second mediator is the brand credibility. By introducing an intervening relationship by mediators or moderators, anything you add. So I'm going to contribute new relationship. Thereby, I make contribution to the existing field. So it is a general test rejection happens to every researcher. The reason is lack of theoretical contribution. It is not lack of a tool. So many of the researchers are in a dilemma that if you do not use MOS, if you do not use structure equation modeling, if you do not use logistic regression, some high kind of research methodology, if you do not use, automatically our paper will not be recognized in the research world. It is absolutely not. In this paper, I have just used regression based mediation model. So automatically paper has got been accepted with few reviews. Why? Because I have literature contribution to the literature. So the previously the relationship already exists. The relationship is endorser credibility and purchase intention. By introducing two mediators, the first mediator is brand awareness and second mediator is brand credibility. Because of introducing this serial mediation model, the effect of endorser credibility has been increased on purchase intention. That is what the point I would like to add. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So by introducing mediators or moderators, you can enhance, you can add value to the existing literature. Thereby, your research contribution is identified in the research world. That is what I would like to tell. And followed by so that is how I build theory. I build theory using mediation and moderation analysis. So that is how I build theory. So you do thorough literature review, make sure that you identify proper research, especially from top tier journals. So how to identify this research paper is viable to my research? The research paper is having high citations. The H index, the research journal having high H index. It is very renowned top tier journal. Automatically, the credibility of your research is already being endorsed. So that is how you add theory to the existing literature. And followed by, I would like to start like what is defining what is a mediation analysis. For example, you can see there are three variables on my research model. Right? One is independent variable, dependent variable, and it is being introduced by intervened. This relationship is being deeply affected by a mediator. For example, I'll tell you an example. For example, you want to study the taste of coffee. Taste of coffee. You want to study taste of coffee. Can we enjoy coffee without sugar? We cannot enjoy coffee without sugar. So what is the mediating factor that increases the taste of coffee? Sugar. Sugar is the mediating factor which enhances the taste of coffee. Likewise, when you are studying purchase intention of a consumer, you are studying about why employers are facing a lot of stress in the work. You are studying about the mitigation strategies of stress relieving strategies of employers. You identify in that context what are the mediators that are available. So always mediator tries to enhance the relationship. The effect of the independent variable on different variable always get enhanced because of introduction of mediators in the context. Right? So this is one of the example of mediation model. The source is given in the PPT. You can also see the actual research paper when I share this PPT. And you can see, can anyone help me? What are the independent variables? What are the dependent variables? What are the mediating variables? Hello, could someone help me on identifying what are the dependent variables, independent variables, and mediating variables? Like in this research framework, the independent variables type of package and the dependent variables consumer purchase intention. So I have a direct relationship. You can see the arrow mark here. It's a direct relationship. The type of packaging will enhance the consumer purchase intention, will have an effect on consumer purchase intention. So in this context, there are some intervening factors, mediating factors. Like for example, perceived instrumentality will enhance. I have hypothesized this relationship. The relationship is the type of packaging and perceived instrumentality will have more effect, enhanced effect on consumer purchase intention. Likewise, the product aesthetic value means, for example, like appearance. Automatically, the product appearance is good. The product will have good sales. I want to test this relationship theoretically and as well as statistically. Therefore, I have introduced a mediator called perceived aesthetic. So this perceived aestheticity of the product, appearance of the product will help to make the consumer purchase intention get enhanced. And likewise, the symbolism, perceived product quality. So we all know that the quality is good. Automatically, it will have good impression on the product by the consumer. Thereby, consumer purchase intention get enhanced. So I want to test this. I want to test this introducing a mediator in the context. I want to test this. Right? So you are contributing to the existing literature. You are contributing new theory to the existing literature. The possibility of getting recognized your research in the research world is high when you are using such kind of intervening variables. Is it clear? Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions on mediation? Why? Because I'm not sure you are getting or not. I'm very fast or slow, or I'm explaining something which is interterrestrial or something which is unknown. If you can stop me if I'm not making any sense. I'll be detailing more. Vijay sir, can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. We'll continue, sir. Manojit, sir.
Yes, yes. And so I believe that you have understood what is mediation, right? So likewise, there is also another example. I also have another example like consciousness, its effect on online purchase intention. You have two paths here. One is direct path and as well as indirect path. So indirect path is been established with three mediators. It is a serial mediation, right? It is a parallel mediation. Here parallel mediation happens that the consciousness of get enhanced because of perceived usefulness of the product. So consumer purchase intention has got enhanced. Likewise, perceived ease of use. For example, you purchase a mobile. If the mobile is useless, you do not feel any usefulness of the product. Obviously, your purchase intentions are very low or poor or maybe zero. So if you feel that the product is more useful and it is very easy to use and you have very good experience with respect to the product, obviously you'll have good purchase intention. So I want to test the theoretical aspect in a statistical manner. So in such case, you can use Hayes mediation moderation process. If I find time, I'll help you to run the mediation moderation analysis in the SPSS. Right? So I'm going with an assumption that you have understood what is mediation. And, the following topic is on moderation. For example, what is a moderator? For example, what is the difference between mediator and moderator? Mediator many of the times will help you to enhance the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable. But when it comes to moderator, it is not like that, or it is not exactly like that. It has three different effects. The one effect is like enhancing effect, and the second is buffering effect. Third is antagonistic effect. When coming to enhancing effect, this moderator will enhance the relationship between X and Y. Already the relationship is there. Need of moderator is not required. But here, the need of mediator is required. If you want to perfectly establish a relationship between consciousness and online purchase intention, some mediator will enhance the relationship and it will add variance in the data. But when come to moderator, already X and Y relationship already exists. But I am trying to test if there is a confounding effect. A new variable is going to intervene. How does the relationship between X and Y interplay? So I am going to test this effect using a concept called moderation effect. So this moderation sometimes it may enhance in the sense of like independent variable will affect the dependent variable positively. Sometimes buffering effect. Sometimes it may reduce the effect of X on Y, independent variable and dependent variable. Sometimes like antagonistic effect, it may negative relationship. For example, I'll show you an example. So you see this research model. So purchase intention is a independent variable. Purchase decision is a purchase intention is a independent variable. Purchase decision is a dependent variable. So I have introduced a new variable called word of mouth. You know word of mouth, right? Word of mouth means friends are helping you to purchase the product. Their reference help you to purchase the product. So your decision of purchase totally depends upon their word of mouth. So you have a good intention to purchase, but you have not made any decision. You have received a positive comment. So your purchase decision get enhanced. You have received a negative comment, word of mouth, negative comment. Obviously, your purchase intention does not lead to purchase decision. It will negative the effect. You understanding what is the difference between mediator and moderator? So mediator in the sense requires mediation relationship is needed. It will add more data to your research. You can add more contribution to your data. Whereas moderator, sometimes it may enhance, sometimes it may show buffering effect, reduce the effect of different relationship between X and Y, and sometimes it may reverse the relationship. Purchase intention may get will have negative effect on purchase decision because of negative word of mouth. So that is how mediators and moderators work. Right. So this is about mediation and moderation. So you have any questions? You can ask me. Hello, Pratibha madam. Pratibha madam or Vijay sir.
Sir, we are there, sir. Manidip sir, yes, sir.
Any participants have any question? Did you exactly understand what is mediation, what is moderation?
Yes, yes, sir. Dear participant, so far, if you need any clarification, any to Manidip sir, you can please put it across. Sir is more than happy to answer.
So you want me to go forward, right? So this slide helps you to define difference between mediation and moderation. So when to use mediation model and when to use moderation model. For example, mediator describes how and why. For example, so how could I define that my variable is a mediating variable or a moderating variable? It depends upon the type of question you ask, the research question you frame, the type of question you ask. If the research question talks about how and why, you should use mediation analysis. If the research question talks about how and why, you are supposed to use mediation analysis. If the research question talks about when it has happened, which, for example, when the word of mouth is less, when the word of mouth is high, word of mouth is positive, word of mouth is negative. So in such case, we use moderation analysis. Right? So that is our college. So I would like to show some sample papers on mediation moderation analysis. This is a paper. This is a research paper on how employee perception of organizational efforts in corporate social responsibility to their satisfaction and loyalty. One of the a very good research paper. So they have a conceptual model. It's a very simple mediation model you can see here. A very simple mediation model as well as moderation. Both are done here. Perception of organizational efforts and employee loyalty. So the employee thinks that the organization efforts are good. Do the employee is a loyal employee or not a loyal employee? So in that context, employee satisfaction is important. For example, organizations have very good efforts to make sure that employee becomes loyal employee. It does not happen until otherwise employee is satisfied. You're getting my point? So until otherwise the employee gets satisfied, so the employee does not become loyal to the organization. So this paper tests this hypothetical model. If the employee satisfaction is a mediator, how does employee reacts? If the employee satisfaction is a moderator, how does the employee loyalty, the relationship perception of organizational efforts and employee loyalty changes? If you treat that employee satisfaction as a moderator. And there's another paper like so you can directly find in the title that moderating effect of organization culture on relationship between transformation leadership and human capital. So many of the social sciences research, it may be a management law or it may be any kind of social sciences research under the branch of any specialization under social sciences research, they use this kind of analysis, this kind of models. This is some complex model you can see here. So you have transformation leadership, again it is been supported by some variables. You have human capital supported by some variables, and collectivism is a moderating variable. You can see hypothesis 2 is a moderating variable. So human transformation leadership and human capital, this relationship is deeply been affected by intervening variable called collectivism. So this paper studies, there are many papers, like for example you can see here thick arrow mark states that it is a direct effect, and the dotted arrow mark tells that it is a moderating effect. So it is a moderating effect and there is a direct effect. So how does this happen? So this research paper studies about that. And there are some complex research models also like this. For example, you have branding as an independent variable, and you have two dependent variables like employee loyalty and employee performance. And there are two mediating variables like employee engagement and job satisfaction. So how does employee engagement and job satisfaction enhances the effect of branding on employee loyalty and employee performance? So you can see here. So as well as sometimes two mediators also participate in the relationship, employee engagement and job satisfaction. There is a lot of literature available. So how this relationship has been established in different contexts, this relationship has been studied. And because of this mediating, this particular paper studies about how the mediating variables affect the relationship on employee loyalty. So it's also a very famous journal. So not just in marketing, even in social media marketing, such kind of papers are available. So as a researcher, you should spend more time in reading and trying to interpret what previous authors are trying to tell. You can see in this particular research paper, antecedents are independent variables and outcomes are dependent variables. So this particular relationship, the relationship between antecedents and outcomes has been studied with two intervening variables. These are set of moderating variables and these set of mediating variables. So like so mediating variables, as I told, if you are trying to study the relationship, how it has happened, then you can use them as mediators. And when it has happened, then for example, like demographic factors you take, if the moderating variable is age, or the moderating variable is gender. So how does the female react and how does the male react? You can study it as the demographic variable called gender, you can study it as a moderator. And likewise, you also have many research papers studying the relationship. For example, perceived quality and customer loyalty. I want to establish a direct relationship as well as indirect relationship. So main focus is like, for example, sometimes hypothesis H1, hypothesis H2, and hypothesis H3. All the three hypotheses has been got accepted. You ask a question that what is the sum that is make? What sum does it make? If all the hypothesis has been accepted, it is a partial mediation. If only indirect path has been accepted, it is a full mediation. So that is how you can interpret the result. So there are other papers also like this. So there are a lot of text is available, lot of content is available. How to run this mediation moderation analysis in the SPSS. So if you are running a regression based mediation moderation analysis, you can go for SPSS. If you are trying to run mediation moderation analysis, which is a non-linear, then you can go for other tools that which are available. And if you want to test the path analysis, you can choose the structure equation modeling, which is MOS is very widely famous. So there's a lot of content available. You are supposed to go through the content and find that which suits your research. So now I'll try to run a simple mediation analysis in the
Deep sir, I think you will have to unmute and speak.
So you are able to see the screen, sir.
Yes, sir, we are able to see your screen.
Yes.
So why did I open SPS? Just want simple mediation analysis on SPSS. So you may not catch up it very fast. I think Vijay sir is recording it. So in the recorded video which is going to share, you can follow step by step. So I have a data in SPS on SPS. I have a data. So I have 4 variables. One is brand awareness, brand credibility, endorser credibility, and purchase intention. I have 4 variables. So I want to test a simple mediation analysis on SPS. How to do it? Very simply. So go to analyze. You have regression. So in the regression, I have an add-in. For example, I have an add-in like process V3.3 by Andrew Hayes, process V3.5 by Andrew Hayes. So generally, this is an add-in. This is really available. You can do it from the website, Andrew Hayes website. You can directly install into website this SPSS. So until otherwise you install this add-in into SPSS, you cannot run mediation analysis or moderation analysis. So I've already installed. How to install this? Many YouTube videos are available. You can go through it. So in this session, I'll try to run a simple mediation analysis and try to interpret results. How does the result look like? So go to the option called 3.5 version. It's an advanced version. You'll get a pop-up like this. So I have a model 4. I'll tell you why did I select model 4. Stop it. And what is my y variable is the dependent variable. What I'm trying to find out is outcome variable, which is a purchase intention, and I have endorser credibility as x variable, which is a dependent variable. Now there is a box called mediator. It is asking for mediator. I want to add brand awareness as my mediator, right? So you have options. For example, you are testing mediation only analysis. You want to find out what is effect size. You can select effect size and click continue. And that is simple, right? So SPS is a GUI, graphical user interface, statistical tool, which is very simple to use. It is simple to use, but interpretation you are supposed to make much hard work. So I have selected Y as purchase intention, X as endorser credibility, and mediator as brand awareness. So we just click OK. If the data is huge, it takes some time. You are able to see the output screen, Vijay sir. So when you run SPSS, this is how the output looks like. You can see the output. So how to interpret this output when you're running a mediation analysis? So you have Y variable, X variable, and M variable. So Y is my dependent variable, X is my independent variable, and M is my mediating variable. So it is a direct effect. The outcome variable is mediating variable. I have a significant result. So X is significant. X significant effect on M. So it tells that the association between dependent variable and independent variable and mediator variable is significant. Likewise, I'm also studying what is the significant effect of this X variable, Y variable on the mediating variable, and the relationship is also significant. And finally, I want to study the indirect effect. You can see the indirect effect here. You can see the indirect effect here. It is also significant. The indirect effect is significant. If we find all the relationship between X, Y, and M all are significant, all the hypotheses are significant. In such case, such kind of mediation is called as partial mediation. So that is how you can establish a relationship. So I know that many of you are unable to cope up with what I am telling. So you can treat this session as an eye-opening session. You are listening to new words, new terminology, new content, and all. My suggestion is you make a note, spend a good quality time on the internet. Why? Because this session is only for 1 hour. So if I cover only one topic and go in depth to it, you will get sleep. So what I'm trying to do is I'll be covering different topics. So you can make a note, do self-learning on the internet. And why? Because a lot of content is available on YouTube, internet. A lot of content is available. And this is about mediation and moderation analysis. For example, I'll tell you a small example in when you're running a moderation analysis. So you can see a graph here. It's intervening effect. I am studying 3 variables. There are families with low poverty, the families with average poverty, the families with high poverty. And I'm also studying the second variable called depression of the mother. A mother who is having low depression, average depression, and high depression. And also have the outcoming variable like child behavior. So how to understand these 3 variables is, for example, a child who is having a behavioral problem and he belongs to a low poverty family. A mother who is having high depression, average depression, and low depression. So how does the child behavior get affected? The getting affected variable is the outcome variable child behavior. So if the child belongs to a low poverty, and a mother who is having low depression, average depression, and high depression. Even the child belongs to low poverty, there are no child behavior problems. On the other hand, for example, you can see here the graph is very high here. Means the child is having very high behavioral problem. When the child is having high behavioral problem, if the family is very poor and the mother had depression levels are also very high, automatically there is a problem with child behavior. Am I making sense? For example, you want to study the behavior of a child. So I want to study the behavior of the child in different context. Means the family, I have categorized the family into 3 categories. One is low poverty, average poverty, and high poverty. So in such context, I have introduced a moderating variable called mother's depression level. If the mother depression level is low, how does the child behavior happens? If the mother depression is average, means she has got only average depression. So how does the child behavior looks? If the mother is having high depression, if the family belongs to high poverty, automatically the child has behavioral problems. So if you are studying such kind of studies, so for such kind of studies, moderation analysis, mediation analysis are the perfect selection. That is how I can justify what I'm telling. Right? So you have any questions on? Am I making sense, or shall I go to the next topic called referencing? So how to do referencing? For example, you are doing the you are working on theoretical papers. You are working on theoretical papers. You need you should study many databases like Scopus database, Elsevier database. You should study Sage database. You have many databases. So where can I find consolidation of all these databases? In just one click, I should get much data relevant to the keywords which I submit, relevant to the study that I'm doing. So we have an option for it. So I'll try to tell you what is option. For example, so if you want to do some citation analysis, citation metrics, you can use a software called Publish or Perish. So in this particular website, you can download. You'll have tutorial classes, training courses. If you have any particular question how to use the software, you can use it. Right? All the content is available on this website. So when I share this PPT in the group, you can go through the link. Right? So I would like to I would like to show you how this tool works in a shorter span. I'll let you. So when you download Publish or Perish the software to do citation analysis, this is how it looks like. For example, I want to search. I want to get data from Google Scholar. You know Google Scholars, right? Crossref, Google Scholar, Scholar Profile, Scopus. All these are database where research papers are available. Research papers are available on this database. For example, I want to collect data from some data from Google Scholar. So when you are collecting data from Google Scholar, you should define on what type of research you are collecting, what papers you want. Means, for example, I am searching on social media. Is my title. In the title of the research papers I want to download, the social media should be the word. So I want to search on purchase intention. Purchasing. So I want you can also support data. For example, you want to collect data only from 2020 to 2022. It's latest data 2022. You have a search option. You search the search option. So automatically you'll find many research papers. So you can see. So 90 papers, 100 papers are will be ready on my software. 140 papers are ready on my software. 150 papers are ready on my software. 190 papers. So if you do this manually, it takes weeks, months of time. If you use Publish or Perish software, it becomes very easy. It just in a single click you'll get access to many research papers. So this software is free. So you can see totally 436 papers. I'm going to get access. I'm going to get access from 433 papers. So it is going more. So you can see the let's wait for 1 minute. Within a minute, within a few seconds, you'll get. So I can do citation analysis, which paper I want using this particular software. So I am searching on social media, whatever the research paper that is already available in this database. If the title is social media, that paper comes into my analysis. And if in any way of the research paper, if it contains a word called purchase intention, automatically I get those papers. I have restricted my sort to 2022-2022. So now we can see. So you are able to see, right? So I have a research paper. I have a research paper here. So in the research paper, I have social media marketing, and in the with the keyword called purchase intention. So how many citations are available to this paper? 483 citations are available. So how many sites, how many times it has been cited? What is the rank of this website? Who are the authors? And in which journal this particular paper has been published? I'll get all such information. I'll get also such information where this paper has been published. So who is the publisher? Elsewhere is the publisher. If I click this link, automatically the HTML gets opened. The website gets opened. So in spite of manually downloading all this paper, you can use this particular referencing tool to directly sort out what are the top tier journals that are available, what are the top tier research papers having high cited papers. So what is the rank of this paper? So in all the papers that are available in my database now, so this particular paper has having the highest rank, 746 is the highest rank this paper is having, and total number of times it has been cited is 483. Likewise, you can see H index of these journals and number of times this particular paper has been cited. What is the rank of this particular paper? You can see. And very important thing is I want to see in details. You can find the details of the paper here. Setting the feature of digital, like you can see the details of this paper. Or for example, I want to do some metrics. I want to analyze some metrics of this particular paper. So year of published, number of times it has been cited, total papers that has been downloaded, total citations. So this is how you can easily download information from Google Scholar into your database. Right? So for example, and these are the things you can do. And there are many applications are inside this. I want to download this information into I want to save this information. You can save the results in the format of CVS, means it will get saved in the Excel format. It also gets saved in the bit text. If you are using any referencing manager software like Mendeley, you are using the EndNote, you are using these all formats of data you can write. So I also have Mendeley. I'll show you how to use Mendeley. So this particular software application is mainly intended to download the information from a particular web source, research source, and save the results in the form of whichever format you like. It depends upon what type of analysis you are doing. You want this information in the form of Excel, and you want to draw some graphs, you want to build some tables, you want to visualize some information, the same information you want to visualize. So even such options are available. And for example, there is also another tool called VOS. There is also another tool called VOS Viewer. So what is the purpose of this VOS Viewer? Means in the publish and perish software, whatever the information that you have accessed, and you are trying to save the information in the form of RS file, in some format of file. I want to establish a relationship in means citation analysis I want to do, bibliometric analysis I want to do. You can go for create. I want to create a map based upon, I'm trying to create a map based upon the data that is available. What type of analysis I'm doing is bibliometric analysis I'm doing. So you go to next and read data from the reference manager. What is the reference manager I'm doing is? So it is asking, so what is the file that is available? You can click on file. So go to the place where you have saved your file. So I already have some files on RIS files. You click open it. And next you click on next. And I want to do analysis, co-author relationship analysis I want to do. And keep next. And you just finish it. So you're able to see. So these are names of the authors in the entire database, of papers that I have downloaded. So these are the authors that are available. And from one paper to another paper, for example, you take this first author. This particular first author have referred. What are other papers he has referred? He has referred the papers of this author, third author, fourth author, and fifth author. And this particular author have, this is the like bibliometric analysis, or you want to create a graph like this. Though this particular author have established in his research paper, he have established a relationship with the first author, second, third, fourth, and fifth author. So that is how you can access information. You can create such kind of graphs. Right? So that is the sole purpose of VOS Viewer. So it helps to create visualization, maps, such kind of. And I would like to also show you mainly a very famous referring tool. You know, many of you might be knowing and using it. So I have a referring software. So you can create folders. So whatever the information that I have drawn from public perish and publish and perish, I have saved that information in the format which is accepted by this referencing software called mainly. So you can directly, for example, I want to add, you can add information here. You can go to file and import. You can go RIS files that are available. So already RS file is available. You select it. So all that information will be available on your referring software. So you should connect this Mendeley software with your Word document. So when you are writing a research paper, you can easily refer, create acknowledgement, in-text acknowledgement as well as bibliographic acknowledgement. You can create simply, and your task is done. Very simple. And for example, you have lost your computer, you can synchronize with your database. Even in online, this data is available. Okay? You don't need to worry that I have lost my data. So when you are, for example, if you have you have just started your research, you are dealing with only few papers. So in such case, your task is very simple. But if you are rigorously doing research, many research papers you need to analyze. In such case, without such kind of a referring software, you cannot meet the other guidelines given by the journal. So these are my recommendations, that you use such kind of software which are available. More focus on theory, developing the research contribution. So automatically your papers get accepted in the top tier journals. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. So I believe I made. You have any questions to ask? You can ask. Hello. Vijay sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
So I've completed, sir.
Manideep sir, thank
Yes,
you
madam.
so
Yes,
much, sir, for today's session. Really, such a knowledgeable session we have. Today, we learn about mediator, moderation, and Mendeley desktop. Really, such a knowledgeable session we have. Really, we come to know so many things about research and what is the independent dependent variable. Really, sir, thank you so much. When I asked you to come as a resource person, you immediately you accepted. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
So we are expecting you to have more sessions
Yes.
with you. Thank you, sir.
Actually,
So participants, all of you hold on for 5 minutes. In fractions of seconds, we'll share the feedback link. Johnson, sir.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, I'm there. Yes, ma'am. You're trying to say something, sir. You can please.
Hello.
actually, I have dealt with 4 or 5 topics in just 1 hour. So it is not a detailed session. It is just an eye-opening session, so that you'll be listening to new words, new terminology, new softwares. So participants can make a note of this, and you'll find good information in the internet, or you can directly contact me how to run all these things and all. So we can make some academic collaboration. You can cite my papers, or if I'm writing some papers, I'll add you as an author. Why? Because when you're writing a paper, we need a contribution of different authors. Some may be good at writing theory, some may be good at writing English, some may be good at using tools, some may be good at doing survey. So we need many contributors to contribute to a paper. Right? With single author, it does not work. So my last suggestion is you make research contribution with professors who are working in renowned organizations, renowned researchers. You identify them and try to make a research collaboration so that you can build your career on research. Right? So we see that many of the research institutions, education institutions, they are running for research. Until otherwise, you establish yourself as a good researcher. So teaching profession may be at stake. So only teaching, it does not help. So you do equally, you do research as well as teaching. So it will help the students even. So that is what that I like to add. You have any questions? You can ask me, or yes, I hand over the session to Vijay sir.
Yes, sir. Engineering College and all the participants who have participated in today's session. I would like to thank you, sir. A lot of insights, as Pratibha madam said, variable things, sir, especially on SPSS. Participating in Ashoka Women's Engineering College FDP. We shall keep in touch. As I said yesterday, WhatsApp group is going to be also available in the group. That's it, sir. Thank you so much, participants.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate all the participants, and I also appreciate the opportunity shared by this Ashoka Women's College. I also personally thank the HOD of the department, Vijay sir, as well as the faculty, Pratibha madam, for giving us such an opportunity to meet such a beautiful participants. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all participants.
Hello. Am I audible? कौन है?